Welcome to Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. I'm Tobie Hewitt, and I'm your guide through time and space and all points in between. Mystic Musings will give you insight into who you are, why you are here, how to live an authentic life, and where you fit into the universe around you. Join me on this path of mystical exploration. Welcome to episode 49 of Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. This week, we will examine the river of life as we continue our mystic journey. As I sit here working on this episode, I am at this moment watching the Seneca River gently flowing past the space in nature where I spend my weekends. Today, I have seen and heard many birds all joining together to create a lovely chorale of melodies. 2 great blue herons have decided to encourage me in my writing, both landing on the boat docks in front of me. The great blue heron became one of my totem animals one very cold and icily raining day when I was left on deck steering my friend's British canal boat down the Erie Canal to where a new canvas was to be created for the bow. He had gone in to warm up a bit, and it was my turn to guide the boat. Alone, cold, and a bit scared, I gently moved the rudder to keep the boat moving safely away from the shore. I asked Spirit to sustain me in this endeavor, and suddenly a great blue heron came up from behind me, swooped low above my head, and down to the front of the boat, and maintained her speed, keeping in line with the boat, indeed seeming to guide me until I became more comfortable doing so myself. She then lifted slightly, dipped one wing, and slowly flew away. It was a mystical interlude during what for me was a far from comfortable trip. Now, as I write, a blue jay lands on a close-by branch of the tree in front of me and intones encouragement for this creative and mystical endeavor. Once upon a time, I woke to the sound of blue jays heralding the beginning of labor for the birth of my son. The river shimmers slightly as it gently flows. The mirror images of the trees across the river waver as white cottonwood seeds float by, looking like large, fluffy snowflakes on this warm June day. The trees on land seem to bend to see the reflection of themselves moving and swaying in the water as they themselves are content to stay rooted and connected on shore. I grew up in Schenectady, New York, which sits along the banks of the mighty Mohawk River. Side note, the trilling of the birds seems to increase the longer I sit here writing. I have been listening to the wisdom of rivers for a very long time. It was along the Mohawk River that I became further aware of spirits on the other side of the veil. There had been a massacre of the early settlers, and their spirits left etherical imprints of their once physical existence on this plane. Since my childhood, I never felt more comfortable than being near moving water. There's something supremely spiritual about this element. The ancient Greeks called the river spirits naiads. Rivers mesmerize me into trance-like states that allow me to join easily with the spiritual realms. One of my lifelong hopes was to live beside a river, which I now am, albeit part-time. The symbolism inherent in the reality of the flow of the river has long spoken to me, and I have sought meaning from this awareness. In Siddhartha, by Hermann Hesse, he writes, "Have you also learned that secret from the river, that there is no such thing as time, that the river is everywhere at the same time, at the source and at the mouth, at the waterfall, at the ferry, at the current, in the ocean and in the mountains, everywhere, and that the present only exists for it, not the shadow of the past, nor the shadow of the future." Indeed, within the flowing river there is no such thing as time, nor the concept of space. The philosopher Heraclitus wrote, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." A river runs through us as both life-giving blood and the energies that flow along the meridians of our etheric bodies. As the rivers flow within, therefore so too are we existing in the combined illusion of time and space, as well as in multiple dimensions, and perhaps even multiple universes. How we traverse this river is our choice, our exercise of free will. We have the choice to cling to the river rocks and watch the river flow past us, perhaps allowing ourselves to stagnate, or we can let go and allow ourselves to experience and witness new things. The first is safe, but limits the life lessons available to us. The second allows us to experience new adventures, learn new lessons, and to go with the flow. The second also allows us to live a life worth living, surrounded by others who are sharing the experience. When we let go and enjoy the flow in the river of life, we open ourselves to an awareness of living in a here and now, informed by the wisdom of the infinite and continuously evolving energies of the creative spirit. The exercise for this week is to find a stream or river and gaze into the moving waters and allow all tension, worry, and concern to flow away, and allow yourself to be filled with the subtle energies of the flowing waters. Please join me next week for episode 50, when we examine suicide as we continue our mystic journey. Thanks for listening to this episode of Mystic Musings. Please join me every week to continue our exploration of all things mystical that can help you have a more practical and magical life. Please visit my website, tobiehewitt.com, for more information and to read my blog postings. And join me also at pathwaystomindfulness.org to learn how you can schedule a presentation. I am available for mindfulness training, demonstrations of psychic abilities, and individual readings. I also have a number of books on mystical topics on Amazon.com. I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions. Please contact me through tobiehewitt.com.